Look at this generated video. We have a rapidly morphing clay bust, completely unable to hold its geometry from one second to the next. Generating a single impressive AI video is simple. Pushing that process to scale an entire narrative series is chaotic. This is the central engineering bottleneck in generative video. As production volume increases, character consistency and audio-visual sync inherently degrade. The root cause is mechanical. Generated video models are probabilistic. They operate by guessing the most likely next pixel. But sequential art requires deterministic systems that follow strict, unbreakable rules. Manual trial and error prompting cannot bridge the gap between probability and determinism. You cannot type enough adjectives into a text box to guarantee 50 consecutive identical shots. Producing cohesive AI media at scale requires imposing a rigidly strict architectural system over the raw generation models. This master blueprint outlines the solution, a modular, four-stage AI agent framework designed strictly to constrain and guide generation. The architecture is split into four distinct operations: constraint generation, visual rendering, post-production sync, and master orchestration. These modules are built to cleanly hand off structured datasets from one stage to the next, entirely bypassing human interpretation. We are going to construct this exact architecture from first principles, step by step. Scalable production relies on the technical orchestration of these specific agents. We begin with Module 1. Structural and visual limits must be mathematically defined before a single pixel is rendered. The primary mechanism to enforce these limits is the character reference pack. By stripping away unpredictable variations, the system extracts precise geometric shapes and color hex codes, locking them into a foundational dataset. Concurrently, the script converts into a rigid timeline constraint. The model is now forced into a heavily restricted parameter space. The data handoff occurs when this structural timeline and the visual rules merge. They become a single set of non-negotiable parameters for the rendering engine. Amateur workflows rely on typing physical descriptions into a prompt box, hoping the model interprets the words correctly. The architectural method relies on locked, pre-verified datasets. Without this rigid constraint layer serving as the bedrock, every subsequent generation reverts to randomized noise. Module 2 is where mathematical constraints convert into visual renders. The 2026 technical stack relies on robust models like Kling 3.0 and Seedance 2.0 to handle the heavy lifting of pixel generation. We replace human trial and error with automated prompt looping. A generation is evaluated against Module 1 rules. If it fails, it's immediately rejected and looped back. An internal agent cycles this loop, tweaking parameters autonomously at high speed until the output strictly matches the reference pack. Keeping this visual generation strictly isolated from audio processing allows for faster compute times and lower error rates. The final output of Module 2 is a folder of silent, disconnected, yet visually perfect short clips. The generation engine effectively turns raw, unpredictable computing power into a predictable visual assembly line. At this stage, we have perfect silent visuals, but narrative drama requires precise temporal timing and dialogue. To achieve this, text-to-speech audio generation runs on a parallel track alongside the visual renders. This highlights the engineering problem, lip-syncing pre-rendered visual frames to a standalone audio waveform. Tools like Live Portrait act as the binding agent. As streams converge in the sync node, the audio physically forces the visual data to conform, locking mouth movements to the exact rhythm of the dialogue. The synchronized files are then passed through an automated handoff into an editing environment like Jianying or CapCut, where music and cuts are algorithmically aligned. The precision of the micro-timing in this phase is exactly what creates the illusion of character emotion. Flawless synchronization provides the final layer of polish, tricking the human brain into perceiving separate AI outputs as a single contiguous reality. We need to pull back and ask a critical question. Who is clicking the buttons between Modules 1, 2, and 3? The answer is agent chaining, the capstone of the 2026 production framework. The master agent autonomously manages data handoffs between specialized worker nodes using strict logic gates. Its core function is automated error handling. If a sync fails, a logic gate triggers a sequence that routes the data backward for a re-render. Human intervention is entirely bypassed. This routing protocol transforms a brittle, linear workflow into a self-healing, recursive network. In practice, a user uploads a raw script into the master agent, and the system autonomously executes every remaining step of the pipeline. The overarching orchestration is the true product. Individual AI models like Kling or LifePortrait are merely temporary, interchangeable parts within this larger machine. We now have a finalized, fully interconnected 4-part architecture. Watch the execution of a high-volume, multi-shot sequence. The data routes simultaneously through the constraint, rendering, and sync layers. The parallel processing capabilities of an agentic workflow ensure rapid execution, outputting a steady stream of completed files. Compare this automated throughput to the severe bottleneck of a single human attempting to process 100 shots manually. Isolated AI tools are cheap commodities. Fully integrated agentic systems are highly scalable, defensible assets. This dictates a shift in your professional role in media production. A human manually coaxing images out of a generator is a production bottleneck. You are now an external systems engineer. Your job is to manage the logic gates and strict constraints, while the autonomous agents execute the labor. Operating in the 2026 landscape requires a complete understanding of this 4-part framework as a baseline. Reliable production is the result of an architectural machine designed to eliminate the possibility of failure.